Welcome back to Revelation 11:27, where we speak the truth and nothing but the truth, and where you could be yourself, or I could be myself, and we can just all be ourselves together. Let's check the energy. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day, and if you're not, wake up. Wake up, because honestly, it's just whatever you're feeling is not really a reality, right? Because the reality, the true nature of every human being is just love and happiness. But what happens? We just kind of tap into the wrong side of our brain, our animalistic side, right? Our frontal lobe, the survival mode. And then we just forget the true nature of the human being. Look, we got the world again, guys, just like yesterday. So there's been a completion about something, right? You've completed something. Maybe there's a celebration. Maybe it's time to celebrate something. Come. Look what we have at the bottom of the deck. We have the Wheel of Fortune, guys. It's time to celebrate your progress. It's time to celebrate your change. And why do we have to celebrate that? Because you're now finally in your destiny. We got the World and the Wheel of Fortune. Come on, these are two of the major arcanas in the tarot deck. And it's like you're being with the, let me focus, the lighting. With the Six of Fire here, right? You're being recognized for something. For your success. Maybe you did something recently that literally changed your whole world around. It allowed for you to jump back into your Wheel of Fortune. And that is amazing. That is beautiful. And you're protecting this, right? With the Seven of Fire here. Come on. Fire has everything to do with protection, with passion, with romance. And whatever challenges you had, you were determined to face them straightforward. That is amazing, because we wouldn't have gotten the World and the Wheel of Fortune here for nothing. Right? And you want to know what allowed you to get to this place? Remember on one of my other readings where we spoke about that sometimes you have to go through that door, right? You have to leave that comfort zone that's here and go, even if you don't know what's going to happen, which is the main reason why people don't go towards their destiny, because they have fear of what's behind those doors. But look, there's an angel, there's God telling everyone, hey, come out of that hellhole, come out of that toxicity, come out of that. And you did come out of that, which is why we have the wheel, the wheel and the world. And not only did you come out of that, but you came out of that very confidently. You walked through those doors because God gave you like a little preview, like a little sneak peek of what was behind those doors. And that fired you up to continue to walk through those doors, right? Because why would you want to stay in an environment where you cannot be yourself? Why would you want to stay in an environment just out of being comfortable? Or why would you want to stay in an environment just because you're afraid of what others will think? No, that is not being in your destiny. But you know that. You figure that out. You may have had some challenges, right? You may have had some forces, energies, people trying to get in the middle of that, trying to keep you stuck, trying to keep you from moving, from walking through those doors that I just showed you. But you are someone that is very determined, right? You are someone that doesn't easily give up. And you accepted those challenges. And you face them straightforward. And you're like, you gotta be kidding me. You really think I'm stay here where there's no love, where there's no passion, where there's nothing but chaos and drama? No. And that is wonderful. That is amazing. I'm so proud of you. It takes a lot for anyone to get out of their comfort zone, even if that comfort zone was just so toxic, right? So I'm proud of you. What else do we need to know, Spirit? Oh, I'm gonna pick this one up. Gave you signs, but you ignored it, and they revealed themselves. So whoever it was that you left behind, it was like they were giving you signs about truly the type of individual that they are, right? They were giving you signs as to the type of narcissistic, malicious, evil, greedy person that they were. Look at the fire just grew. And maybe in the past you ignored that. Maybe in the past you didn't want to see it because of, it could have been your mom, your dad, your uncle, your aunt, your sister, your brother, a close childhood friend, your husband, your wife. And maybe you ignored those signs because you wanted to avoid more problems or more issues. But you've done that in the past and things just go back to normal. But this time is different, right? This time you've seen those signs and you're like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. With the 7 of fire here. That is amazing. They also give you signs about the type of life they like to live. They love third parties, right? They're thirsty, they're nasty, they're lusty, dried out, passed down. I don't know what kind of individual you were with, but I'm glad that you were able to really see their true nature and their true colors. Even if in the past you were trying to ignore it just to have some peace of mind, but now there's a reason why you're in the world in the Wheel of Fortune, because you're no longer settling for less. You're no longer settling for codependent individuals that are just draining your energy, not giving you any happiness in return, not giving you any love in return. I'm glad that you find that out, because you deserve better, right? You deserve a partner, you deserve a husband, you deserve a wife that is grateful for you. And not only grateful for you, but shows it to you, not just. And you also deserve someone who you're attracted to, who makes you happy, who makes you feel loved, regardless of what all these people just love to talk about when they bring up religion or when they bring up things that are not even true. Especially coming from these people that are so nasty, that love third parties, that are just thirsty, throwing themselves onto people because no one wants them anymore. They don't know God. And since they don't know God, they try and use the word of God to try and make you feel guilty, because you do have an amazing destiny ahead of you. And they do that to try and keep you back, to try and make you feel confused, to try and doubt yourself. to not make you feel worthy of all the love and abundance that's really in your destiny. But I'm glad that you figured that out. I'm glad that you figured them out. Look, the Galactic Federation, confirmation, the Galactic Federation has been helping you. And why? Why is it that the Galactic Federation has to come help people? Because these nasty individuals, these thirsty, lusty, dried out people think that they are bigger than God. So they get other 3D forces like the police. They try and bind you to contracts. They try to keep you stuck to them with false allegations, with lies. Because if you leave, if you were to walk out those doors that God has been telling you to, who's going to take care of them? Who's going to pay their bills? Who's going to make them... I think you get my point. So when we have these types of individuals here on earth that think they are bigger than God, that's when extra dimensional help comes. Things that they don't even know about. And come on. And this extra dimensional help is no games. And these people that were, trying to keep you back. These people that were defaming my character. These people that were making false police reports and false allegations. These people that were stealing your money, that were stealing my money. These people that were trying to brainwash you about someone else's true character. These people should all be feeling the consequences of that. And not only feeling it, they're visible. Look, but I'm proud of you, right? Because you're in your destiny. You're doing what you need to do. You're doing what you need to do to just go even higher in this life. You're doing what you need to do to continue on the path that God has for you, right? And I want to make something clear to you, right? So you kind of understand why it was that you had to leave certain people behind. Because you're a generational curse breaker, right? Like me. There were so many generational curses that I had to break. Like passed down beliefs from my family about what a man or a woman should or should not be. I had to break generational curses about mother wounds and father wounds and all these wounds that I didn't even do to myself. But that's what happens when these curses are carried through from generation to generation, and the individual, you, myself, just sits back and absorbs it and doesn't do anything with their life. No, but it takes a generational curse breaker to understand what is going on and to start deciding for yourself. And that is how you break these generational curses. Like, no, mother, father, I'm not going to follow your footsteps. I'm going to marry who I want to marry. I'm going to be with who I want to be. I'm going to dress how I want to dress. I'm still a good ass fucking person, and God knows that. And you tell them that, and they're like, God is not connected to them. They're not connected to God, let me tell you. Because if they were connected to God, they wouldn't be judging anyone. Instead, they would have broken the generational curses that you just broke. Does that make sense? Okay. Look. Yeah, so you're a generational curse breaker. It ended with you. You're a chosen one. That is why we have the world and wheel here, because something that you did in the recent past, something that you walked away from, allowed you to be in your destiny. And not only allowed you to be in your destiny, but it broke certain generational curses. And what happens when you break these generational curses? God rewards you with so many beautiful things, right? But especially with vitality, meaning that you barely get sick. Like me. I forgot when was the last time I even had a cough. Versus my family with depression, anxiety, sicknesses that are even unheard of. Optimum health. Your skin just glows because because that is God's way of rewarding you. When you get away from all that toxicity, even if it's your family, even if it's your friends, God does not want you to be around that energy. That is why God rewards you when you break these generational curses. And it takes a true chosen one to really break these generational curses. Not just someone that's soft and just sits back and takes everyone's bad attitude and doesn't do anything about it. No, that is not what I'm talking about. And, a chosen one also, because we are rewarded with, vitality, good skin, that happens because we treat our body like a temple. We respect our body. We don't just share it with anyone. Like the people that you were probably used to. These nasty, thirsty individuals, third parties that probably, they even have like group sex. Let's see how I do it. They do rituals through group sex. They do sex magic through group sex. That's why they do third parties, because they try and think of you while they're having sex with like 3, 4, 5 people, and that's what these nasty individuals do. But let's not talk about them right now, because what this is telling me is that whatever you did in the recent past, you broke a generational curse. That is why you're here today. That is why you're in your destiny. And I want you to get excited, because so many amazing things happen when you break a generational curse. See you guys next time.